I see Tesla stock investors that bought the stock at twice the price where it is now, selling and panicking and losing 50%. Let me tell you how Tesla stock looks now. This is how it looked like then it was twice the price where it is now. And continuously, it keeps getting more attractive as the stock keeps undressing. I feel the atmosphere is getting a little bit heated. I mean, for me, it's hard to resist what I'm seeing here. Every month, I look at Tesla stock, fundamentals are getting stronger. The attraction level that I have for Tesla stock is increasing. It's hard to resist not accumulating more shares of Tesla stock, that is. And Tesla stock is not naked yet, but we are approaching that territory now. I am actually more bullish now than before, and I'll also give you 5 things that I do to make holding Tesla stock easier as we go through this recession. And if we go through a recession, it's very likely that Tesla stock is going to get naked. It is quite difficult to time the bottom, but you can know if you are getting a discount. Tesla's fundamentals only have gotten better as the stock price has dropped. But there are big differences between Tesla stock and many other EV makers. For example, Lucid is losing money. Tesla can lower prices easily and still make money, but if a company like Lucid lowers prices, they just only lose more money quicker. And Tesla has $21 billion in cash, as Tesla reported in its Q3 earnings report. For example, Lucid will still need to raise money. Tesla does not need to raise money. Tesla can stop making money and still have $21 billion in cash. So I am not worried about what the stock does. I'm just worried about fundamentals, which are getting better. This is Tesla's net cash flow, specifically free cash flow. I believe buybacks are inevitable for Tesla. I prefer that they wait until maybe $140 per share to announce those, or until they accumulate about $30 billion in cash. And the only reason for that really is if there is a very bad global recession, or if China kicks Tesla out of China and Tesla all of a sudden needs to build a new gigafactory at an incredibly high speed and sacrifice how much we spend on that new gigafactory. You know, let's say it's going to be $10 billion and there's going to be some waste to build a new factory and launch a $25,000 vehicle super fast. That's the only reason why I really want Tesla to accumulate just a little bit more cash, and then over 30 billion, just do buybacks. That's what I would want. And Gary is expecting $100 billion of free cash flow in total by the end of 2025. Currently, with Tesla's market cap being at about $600 billion, imagine if Tesla spent $100 billion on buybacks, by how much will that boost the stock price? And I think $100 billion is quite conservative. If we look by the end of 2030, that will happen. I believe before the end of 2030, and it could be a lot more than $100 billion as well. And Tesla's business model is very good, meaning that they get paid first from the customers before they have to pay their suppliers for all the materials and all the services that they purchase from those suppliers. And fundamentally, Tesla is getting much stronger. When you just look at price to earnings ratio, Tesla makes more and more profits while the stock price becomes lower. Here are 10 things to help any Tesla stock investor navigate these difficult times. Those are actually exciting times for me, especially because I am still accumulating. Number one, remember that stock markets can be extremely irrational. This is Amazon, a great company to own. Even if you bought at the worst possible time in the year, let's say 1999, if you look right here, the highest price was $5.50 per share. So if you bought in one big lump sum and then held until now, you would still be up much more than 10 times. You can see that the current price is about $90. You are almost 20 times up. And that assumes you bought at the very peak. And if you just kept accumulating every single month, your returns would have been much more than just 10 times. Because there were times, look right here, a low of 40 cents. That was up from $5 to 40 cents. That was a 90% drop. It is very difficult to know when the stock is fully dressed up. As you saw this one, so many layers of clothes. It's very difficult to know. But you can certainly know then the stock is getting undressed. That is very easy to tell. I mean, the more the stock gets undressed, the more attractive it becomes, the harder it is to take your eyes off that stock. At least, that's the thinking that you have to have. That's the second thing to do. Number 3 is be very careful who you watch. You can watch me. I am a long-term investor, so I will give you thoughts that will come from someone who you would expect, who is holding Tesla stock for a long time and who is not concerned about day-to-day movements. So therefore, if you watch someone like that, it doesn't have to be me, you will feel better overall emotionally, and that just makes it easier to hold the stock. That is, of course, not financial advice, but if you are planning to hold the stock for a long time, I probably wouldn't go to Twitter much unless you curate your own Twitter experience. But maybe it's okay. Number 4 is to plan out your worst case scenario. For me, if a stock goes down to 0, I know I am totally fine. Now, you have to plan out what you think is an actual realistic worst case scenario for Tesla stock. And I have planned that out as well. And I went extremely far by planning everything out so that I would be okay if a stock goes down even to 0. Now, keep in mind, I am fairly young. If you are more on the older side, then you have to consider that into account as well. That is, if when you see those big swings, 50% down, if that affects you emotionally, then you probably want to plan out the worst case scenario. Number 5, if you are investing in Tesla stock, I don't really see how it's a good idea unless you are a long-term investor. I made this video August 15th. This was when after split, this would be $300 per share. I made a video saying, hey, look, if you are not a long-term investor, I think now maybe is not a bad time to sell. And specifically, I told my brother to, let me correct that. I made my brother buy Tesla stock. This was then the stock was down and then it went up and then my brother made nice profits. And then I told him, hey, look, if you are not willing to hold for a long time, sell now. He trusted my judgment and he doesn't mind holding long term. So he didn't sell and he's keeping all of it. I think he might have a small loss currently. But that was the time to sell if you wanted to get out. Right now, if you sell now, it's a little bit silly because you're getting this discount and the stock is much more attractive now. So in my personal opinion, not financial advice, right now the stock is much more likely to go up than before. For the simple reason that the PE ratio has gotten so much better. The fundamentals keep getting stronger. Tesla's making more money, more profits. Tesla made more money than Toyota. I'll make a separate video. I'll elaborate more on that. It's preposterous. Tesla only makes how many vehicles? Not even 1.5 million per year. And Toyota makes how many? Something like in the 10 million range, right? I'll make another video. Watch out for that one coming. So I would say for Tesla stock at this time, unless you're holding it for at least 5 years, I think your risk is extraordinarily higher compared to if you held the stock for at least 5 years, and preferably really at least until the end of 2030, and ideally at least 10 years from right now. Number 6, if you are a trader and you bought Tesla stock and now you are not happy that it is down, I think you are just silly. Tesla stock is so volatile. It's so hard to predict what it's going to do short term. Long term, I think that's pretty easy if you just think about it and you look at fundamentals. I mean, you can, for example, look at S&P 500, and if you said every single year from 1900 that S&P 500 is going to be a lot higher 30 years from now, if every single year you made that prediction, you would have been right. Guess how many times? Every single time you would have been right. Tesla stock, I believe, is a generational company, and I am very confident to make that same prediction about Tesla stock as well, that it will be much higher than it is right now 10 years from now. Number 7, when my wife becomes a handful to handle, it's always because she is not busy. So if you are being a little bit of a handful and you are really worried about Tesla stock right now, maybe you're just not busy enough. Find something to do. Get yourself busy. Number 8, at least if you are not retired, focus on making more money. Instead of looking at your account, your portfolio, make more money. Number 9, I personally really do not like looking, if I'm still accumulating, at the average price that a certain investment has been purchased at. Because, for example, I look at 2019, stock even now is like 10 times more up compared to when I first bought it in 2019, early 2019. And when I look at that and I'm like, Tesla stock is 10 times more expensive, does that mean it's a bad deal? Like you start, it doesn't, psychologically it's difficult to keep buying if you just look, if your cost basis is really good. And fundamentals are getting better. If I was looking at any one stock to buy, Tesla stock is still the stock to buy. So don't look at the average price that you bought your Tesla stock at, especially if you bought it at low prices, because that will make you less hesitant to buy more. Number 10, know when to exit the stock. Write it down. Write down all of the times and instances when you would want to exit the stock, and do not exit the stock unless one of those instances occur and happen. And if this list was too short for you, well, I got a list of 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. My name is Matt Postis, reporting to you from Vancouver City, Canada. I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you have not